Thanks for joining and checking in here. In a moment here, I'm going to be joined by Laura Dodson, who is here she is, coming in. She is a RPCV. Hello. Hi, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Laura?
Yeah, I can now.
Hi. How's it out there?
Got it.
How's everything out there?
Pretty hot, but it's a good day. There's very festive.
Cool.
Like,
it's a real
party.
good attitude, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I know that there was this period of time where everything just shifted and everything was positive and like moving with momentum. Real good.
Yeah, I think we hit a tipping point where there's more of us than there are of them.
Yeah. So tell me, where are you now?
I am at Vermont and between Penn and I.
Okay. What monuments that people might know that don't live in DC around there?
I can make it go the other way. I can even show you because it's.
Oh, sure.
I don't know how to flip my camera.
Yeah, just turn your camera. It's all good. So you got some, I don't know, a lot of people walking around, milling around.
Yeah. You can maybe see the Washington Monument, but I'm one so. What is that street? 8th Street. It's where the White House is. The back.
Okay, yeah, off Pennsylvania Avenue.
200 feet from where Lafayette Park starts.
Okay, that's where you are now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Tell me, I met you through a RPCV page, a Return Peace Corps volunteer page in Washington, D.C. I was a volunteer in Ukraine for 2 years. Where did you serve?
I did Peace Corps response in the Philippines.
Oh, right on. Yeah, that's were you on what island?
So I was working on Leyte, which is the island where Tacloban is, which is the biggest city.
Uh-huh.
It's known because of Typhoon Haiyan, where it was absolutely devastated. And I was there after Haiyan.
What was your mission?
I taught first aid and disaster response.
Seems pretty important in a place where they had a a terrible hurricane. Yeah.
The Philippines is like one of the most disaster-prone countries in the world.
Interesting. Terrible.
Because they're on the Ring of Fire and they get the typhoons.
Yikes. Yeah, and a lot of people too, and limited development index score on there. So tell me, were you on was it Monday night when the action happened?
Yeah, I was here actually pretty much on this street corner when it happened on Monday night.
And what was your experience? What did you observe?
So I live up in Northwest DC, and I had walked down with like a bag full of medical supplies that I was going to drop off for some protesters. And when I got down here, I saw that they had a medical tent, but it was kind of understaffed. There's like one guy. It's like, well, my license expired, but like I know how to bandage boo-boos, so.
Probably a lot better than most people, considering your experience working in a disaster zone.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, sure, I'll stick around and help. And so one of the big concerns was tear gas because that had been used periodically over the past weekend. So we had all these bottles ready to go of water with baking soda and water with Dawn dish soap to help dilute the chemical agents of tear gas and mace. So we all had a couple bottles on us, and I think I got down here like 4 o'clock, and it was chill, very chill. Like, yeah. I've lived in DC my whole life, and I've been to countless protests. Like, I was 13 and protesting against the Iraq War. Like, I've been to all kinds of shit, and I've never seen anything like this. In that, never has somebody handed me sandwiches and water and Band-Aids just because I'm out here. And like try to take care of me, and people walking up to you saying like, hey, are you okay? Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
So it's totally different, and there was absolutely no violence that I could see, like nothing that would say this is an escalating situation. Things started to go south, I think around 6:30. Somebody ran over to where we were standing on St. John's Church with the medical supplies and said, hey, somebody got tear gas, we need some help. So we grabbed some bottles and ran over to the corner of H in Vermont, which is basically where I'm at now.
Yeah.
And there was a guy there, an older black man who somebody was helping him pour water in his eyes to clear it out. And I was like, okay, let's help, let's get it done.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the riot police started closing in. And so he couldn't see anything. So I was like grabbing him by his arm and trying to help lead him away. But then the riot police just kept closing it. And at one point I saw somebody trip as they were trying to back up. And then the police surrounded them, and I don't know what happened. It was just like a flurry of activity and people. It kind of looked like they were beating him, but I didn't get a close enough look to know, because we were like, we gotta run, we gotta get out of here.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I backed up to enough down Vermont where I was out of the fray. So I decided to go back around, loop back on the back end of the alley, and come back up where St. John's was. And when I got up to St. John's, I saw the reverends who were helping us run the first aid station fleeing because the riot police were coming down 16th Street.
Yeah.
And I saw them like try and grab the medical supplies, but they didn't have time because the riot police were closing in.
Wow.
And so they just kind of like jumped and ran, and we grabbed just whatever we could. So I ended up with like a bag of water bottles.
Were you scared personally?
Fuck yeah, I was scared. Like I've seen a lot of shit, but I mean, I spent like 5 years as an EMT. I spent 7 years doing wilderness rescue. I taught in the Philippines, but I've never felt like an army was coming after me.
Holy shit.
And I lived in the Philippines under Duterte's drug wars.
Right.
And like saw a lot of shit, but
People,
like I've never like felt like
killed.
I was gonna get attacked.
Oh my God. So they chased down people there, right where you were. And did you stay then after or regroup to help with the medical situation in the aftermath, or?
When I got back around to St. John's, they stopped advancing once they got to the end of St. John's. At the time, we had no idea what was going on or why. In retrospect, no, it's because they were closing off St. John's for the photo op.
Yeah. Wow.
And I never heard anybody announce anything. I heard somebody on a bullhorn say something like, "Park police," before this all started, but I couldn't hear anything. I didn't know what they said.
Oh, good. So I've heard that those the forces, the riot police type people, that they had no insignias or badges or anything else like that. Was that something that you noticed at the time? You didn't know who the hell they were? They're just guys with guns, or what?
I don't think I saw guns. I don't think I saw guns.
Batons and whatnot.
Just it looked like an Orange is the New Black when they go to like storm the prison. That's what it looked like.
Like prison cops or something.
Yeah, like nothing I'd seen before.
Okay.
In like real life, and nothing to say like, hey, this is DCPD or anything. It was just guys in full black tactical gear. So
here's a question, and try to answer it as best you can. There are people on the internet that are saying that the people who were gassed, that were tear gassed, were paid protesters. That they were I don't know that. Do you know anyone who was paid to be there or anything like that?
No, nobody was paid to be here. We all show up here because it matters to us and it means something. And, at a certain point, you have to just make a choice and make a stand and stand up for what you believe in. And I think that, we are, as cliche as it is, in unprecedented times with unemployment at a record high. People have been stuck inside for 2 months. And so they're going to come out and gather for things like this. And I would not be paid to get tear gassed. That shit sucks.
I can imagine. You luckily avoided that situation. You can't imagine anybody out there that would take money for that. I mean, it seems very strange.
I mean, you can't even like pay people to to show up in the heat in DC on a normal day, to show up in the heat to then get brutally attacked. No one's going to get paid for that. We're doing it because it's something we believe in.
Well, I believe you and your case and everything you've described. You seem like a very trustworthy person, given your background personally. So I appreciate you taking a few minutes to explain what your experience was out here. Hopefully it benefits people to hear your account.
Yeah, it was not something I had planned on sharing on Facebook and publicly until I got home and kind of sat with it and was like, oh my God, like I just was a part of something important. People need to hear that, like, I got chased off the grounds of a church, working with the reverend, holding medical supplies by riot police with no provocation.
Oh my God. I'm starting to feel how the 60s generation must have felt at Kent State when they opened fire on people, you know?
Yeah, it's just, it's absolutely insane. And like, as I left the protest a little before 7, which is when curfew was at DC.
Right.
When on 16th, where I was kind of chilling, waiting with the rest of the protesters to see what would happen next, somebody turns around and says, "Oh my God, there's another line of riot police." I said, "I'm not getting kettled. I'm out."
Oh my God. Well, I'm glad that you didn't get injured yourself, and that you're there to help and support and backstop all the people who are out there, making sure they're exercising their First Amendment rights and everything. So,
Yeah, it's a big moment in DC and hopefully for everybody in the nation.
I hope so too. Thank you for doing what you do and for taking a moment to share with me.
Sure, of course, happy to do so. All
You take care now.
right, you too.
Bye.